Hello, and welcome to Roar's Brainworks, where we get creative and see if it works. Today, we are going to do the Rose Gauntlet. No, Marie, but if you pay close attention, you will obviously learn that it's something that you can do to yourself by yourself. Yes, I know, a Herculean task to be sure. But before we get into all of that, we must first talk about safe, sane, and consensual safety. Be sure to have some safety shears with you at all times. You can always get a new rope, can't get a new life. And consensual. Me, Marie, and Crochet Rory are all consenting adults. Communication is key. Now, before we take a deep dive into the Rose Gauntlet tutorial, we must first thank my sponsor, KnotHead Nylon.
KnotHead Nylon is the destination for all your premium nylon rope bondage needs. Easy to clean, water resistant, up to 1,100 pounds of weight load, and in a wide array of beautiful, vibrant colors, KnotHead Nylon will slake your rope desires. At checkout, put in discount code RORY10 for 10% off.
So why a rope gauntlet? Well, I wanted to show off that most of the things I do on here don't inherently have to be kinky or used in the bedroom or something like that. A rope gauntlet has that really good feeling to it that makes you feel powerful. It gives you a sense of security as well. At least to me, that's how it makes me feel. It makes me feel secure, but also at the same time gives me this sense of power. Like I wield some legendary gauntlet. There are days where I lack in confidence. There are days where I just need a good hugging sensation on a part of my body to make me feel better. That does it. But at the same time, it can be used in an environment with kink. I've had plenty of doms message me telling me that when they put on their gauntlet, they feel like they can enter that dom space a little bit easier. It prepares them, like suiting up for battle, donning armor. Same thing for subs. When they get into a subspace, it also allows them another area to focus what they're feeling by having that constant pressure on them. Gauntlets are nice. They're fun. I can't wait to show this one to you. So I have the bight of my rope, the middle of my rope, and what I'm going to do is wrap it around my thumb like thus, and then we're going to go around the wrist once. And we're going to start by creating a looping pattern, which will be our first of our many roses going down a hedge through our forearm. Now, one of the easiest ways to do this is just take the rope and then twist. Wonderful. You got yourself a little twisty rosebud there. Now, does it look the best right now? Absolutely not. What we're going to do is straighten out the ropes. As you can see, as it progresses through here, it twists up right there. So we just want to make sure that we can have it go the same way, that it's all even and level, just like that. Good. So it's going over itself. Now I'm going to push it a little bit to the left side, not down the center, but a little bit to the left side. Now the rope's going to keep traveling around until we get to this point. I'm going to have the tail of the rope go through this loop. As you can see, this side right here is raised, and this side is depressed. So, what do we do to our depressed friends? We're going to lift them up, which means we're going to go underneath it. And what do we do to our friends on our high horses? Well, we're going to push them down, ground them. So we're going to go over and then under. Just basically pushing the rope in there and then feeding it through. Once through, we'll straighten that out again. Wonderful. Now we're going to tighten up to our preferences and come back around again. Now try not to be too high up on the wrist. We want to be a little bit lower than when the metacarpals end right here. The higher we go up into the wrist, if you put pressure into it, it can be bad for it. Now once we went through it, we just came back around and underneath again. Wonderful. And the reason why I'm having this be a little bit off center is I'm going to put another rose right here. So it's going to jump diagonally, making roses down it. That way I don't have them all going down a row and it jumbles up too much. We want our rose hedge going down our gauntlet to be nice and separated. Now what did we do last time? We merely grabbed the rope and we twisted. Had it going over itself, but this time I'm going to twist the other way. That way it's going to go under itself. And just like the same thing, I'm going to straighten it out. There we are. Now I'm going to hold it while I grab the other rope and bring it around. And we're going to do the same thing we did with our previous rows above it. Now this side is depressed and this side is on its high horse. So we're going to go under this one, lift it up, and push this one down, ground it. And feed the rope through. It's a little bit harder in the earlier part of this process. I am also in a very precarious position in order to get the filming right. As you can see, I'm a little bit twisted here, so I want to follow from over here where it was straight and follow around with my finger to untwist it. There we go. Now I'm going to pull it this way, and then I'm going to tighten from this side a little bit. And what I want to do is to push the ropes underneath the previous rows. That way this rose doesn't get pushed down. That way it doesn't get jumbled up, and it's allowed to rest above this other rope right here. That way it can show itself, it can be present. We want all the roses to shine and be present with all the other ones. We're going to wrap around again. I'm going to push this rope underneath this rose. I'm actually going to tighten this one just a little bit more. Good. Now this one is going to do what this one up here just did. If you remember, this one went over itself. So we're going to do the one that goes over itself now, and then straighten that out. Good, good. And it's going to be positioned like we did, going to this side now. We're just hitting these oblique angles, hitting these diagonal angles so that all of our roses may flourish. Hold that down, grab the rope, pull across. Wonderful. We're going to go over and under just like the last one. Pull from here and just do a lot of cycling to make sure I'm tightening it down the amount I want to tighten it down. Come back over here, Rose. And you see the way I do that? You see the way I'm putting the other ropes underneath the previous rows? That way the roses can always be showing. That way they're always present. Now I'm going to do it one more time, but I think at this point you've gathered the pattern I'm doing. So now we're going to do this one where it goes underneath itself. Aha! Straighten that out. Perfect. Hold it down while we grab the other rope and come around, and then we'll go under and over. Bring this new rose through. Learning to tighten the roses is gonna take you a second. It's actually relatively simple, but some people who aren't quite as adept at tightening particular knots or whatnot might have an extra minute or two being like, well, how do I get this tightened without moving all the roses around too much? You'll figure it out. You're brilliant. I believe in you. I'm here to cheerlead you the entire way. Now I'm going to continue doing this pattern for a little bit. A lot of the fun, especially for me, is taking your time with it, making sure that it has its due diligence, that everything is precisely the way that you want it to be. Not everything has to be super quick. Taking time to enjoy the process is a part of the fun. Enjoying that process, part of it is enjoying the time it's spent to get there. Sometimes it is the process and not the result. In this instance, I think it's both. Making pretty roses is all worth it, especially when it gets to stay on your arm. You get to enjoy it through most of the day. I'm going to be wearing this gauntlet through most of the day, I guarantee it. Because I like wearing these things. I like the feel of it. It gives me a sense of security. I don't have to be doing anything kinky either. I could be on the couch watching Downton Abbey, putting a rose gauntlet on myself. That might give you some insight to how my week has been. Now I seem to have reached the end of my ropes right here, so how does one close this off? It may seem like a cop-out to few, but it's actually the simplest way to do it is to just tuck what you have left into the gauntlet. I can bring these back around. I'm essentially just going to push them up, not to where they jumble, but to where they rest ever so gently inside here. This entire time I've created a particular kind of tightness to this gauntlet that has made it very comfortable. When you have other rope gauntlets, they tend to be a bit bulky and they'll cross over each other and pull underneath. This is no different than what a few other gauntlets will do, naturally. You're just sticking the tails into it a little bit. It hides them and makes it look a little bit more presentable. So what are we doing with this thumb over here? I can pull a little bit on the tightness, making sure that I'm avoiding the top side of the wrist, and just tuck in one part at a time. It's in there very comfortably. Gotta check with yourself, do a few of these, see how that feels. If you can do this and you don't have a buildup of blood, that's good, yay. But you did it in the correct tightness. I can feel my muscles contracting underneath it, but it's not uncomfortable. And that's tight. That's gonna stay there as well. Now you can pretty it up a little bit, make sure that everything in the back is all nice and straight. Make sure that the roses are all presented forward in the way you want them to be. And you got yourself a lovely little flowery gauntlet. Yay! Well, hey, I hope you had as much fun learning from that tutorial as we did at teaching it to you. Yes, I can hear her out in the distance struggling to perform the most simple of tasks. Yes, it is a sad thing, really, but often yields humorous results. Now, I would be remiss if I did not bring up my other lovely sponsors today, the wonderful people over at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Rory'sBrainworks, just like this YouTube channel. They are my rope and video game vanguard, my colonizers of dreams. And without them, all the ropey and video game endeavors that I do would be way harder to accomplish. Thank you for spending your time with me. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this madness, and comment down below what you thought of the Rose Gauntlet tutorial and what kind of things you would like us to show you in the future. As always, I'm Rory. This is our brain. I'm fairly certain it works. Be safe and go create some art.